She says she's not into you, but everything else says otherwise. If you're like most men, you've been here before. She acts cool around you, then her friends light up when you walk in. She avoids your DMs, yet likes every post. She brushes off compliments, but remembers a tiny detail you mentioned months ago. Some days she is warm, other days she is distant. You start second-guessing yourself, pushing harder, and the more you push, the colder it gets. This is where most guys lose the plot. They try to decode feelings with more talking, more gifts, more check-ins. But attraction does not respond to pressure, it responds to presence. The Stoic move is simple. Read what is real, hold your frame and let her come toward your calm. In this video I will give you 10 hidden signs she is pretending not to like you, but secretly does, plus how to answer each one without chasing. You will learn how to use silence, timing and boundaries, so her curiosity keeps working in your favor. You will see how to reward what is earned and how to step back when needed without drama. If you want a clear map for mixed signals and the confidence to lead without losing your edge, you are in the right place. Subscribe if you are new. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. Her circle smiles before she does. This one is subtle, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it every time. When a woman is trying to hide her feelings, she'll often control her body language around you, but her friends, they give it away instantly. Before she smiles, before she even says a word, her circle already reacts to your presence. It's an unconscious leak, one that says she's been talking about you. Let me show you what that looks like. Mark, 45, a small business owner from Austin, met Emily, 34, through mutual friends. Every time they ended up in the same group setting, dinner, drinks, a weekend gathering, he noticed something interesting. Whenever he walked in, her friends would glance at her before even greeting him. Some of them smiled, one of them even nudged her under the table. But Emily, she'd stay composed. She'd act casual, maybe nod or give a half smile. At first, Mark brushed it off, but over time it became obvious they were in on something. That's what happens when a woman's interest grows, but she's trying not to show it. She'll control her facial expressions, her tone, even her distance. But her friends, they've heard about you. They've analyzed your texts. They've probably told her to play it cool. Women rarely move without emotional support from their circle. When you see them light up before she does, you're not just walking into a room, you're walking into a story that's already been told. And here's where men make a mistake. They read the group's energy and rush in too hard. They joke too much, flirt too openly, or try to confirm what they already suspect. That kills the tension. The Stoic move here is to observe, not react. Remember what Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." You apply that same discipline here. Let her friends' reactions speak louder than her words. You don't need to expose it. You need to acknowledge it quietly within yourself. Because when she realizes you noticed everything, her friends' glances, her careful calm, her micro-expressions, but you didn't chase it, her curiosity doubles. You've just proven you're not emotionally impulsive. You're composed. And that composure builds attraction faster than charm ever could. If you sense this dynamic, her friends smiling, whispering, exchanging looks, the best response is to stay steady. Be friendly but restrained. Focus on the group, not her. When you treat her like she's just another person in the room, you trigger one of the deepest psychological paradoxes in female attraction. She feels seen without being pursued. That's when she starts chasing your attention in small ways. She'll test the waters, a teasing remark, a coincidental conversation, or a question meant to draw your focus back to her. That's when you know you've already shifted the dynamic. You've gone from being the guy she hides her interest in to the man she's now trying to read. Mark noticed this shift too. By the 3rd group dinner, Emily was the one who started conversations first. She found excuses to sit near him, asked about his week, even laughed at things that weren't funny. Her friends, they sat back quietly, smiling, their mission accomplished. So the next time you walk into a room and see her friends light up before she does, don't overthink it. Don't talk more. Don't show off. Just watch. Because in that moment, you've already won more than you realize. If you've seen this sign before, type it below, "I've noticed this." And stay right here, because what comes next will show you how her eyes can reveal what her words are trying to hide. Trust me, you don't want to miss that part. Number 2. Eyes that reveal what words hide. You can fake a smile. You can control your tone. You can even build walls with your words. But the eyes, they always tell the truth. When a woman is pretending not to like you, her mouth will say one thing, but her eyes, they'll betray her every time. They'll linger half a second longer when you're not looking. They'll flicker between your face and your lips when she's trying to stay composed. They'll avoid yours completely when she feels too much and doesn't want to give it away. Her eyes are a language her ego doesn't speak, but her emotions do fluently. You'll notice it in small moments when she's in a group conversation and you say something. Her gaze finds you even when she's talking to someone else. Or when you walk by and her pupils widen for a split second before she looks away pretending she didn't notice. It's not random, it's instinct. Her biology is louder than her logic. The Stoics understood this truth well. Human behavior always exposes internal states. Epictetus once said, "What concerns me is not what they say, but what they mean." You must learn to look beneath the words, beneath the surface-level responses, and read the meaning her body gives away. Here's the paradox. The more she tries to hide her interest, the more her eyes will reveal it. Attraction makes the body restless. It creates micro-reactions that no amount of self-control can suppress. Her gaze becomes unpredictable sharp when she's testing you, soft when she forgets herself. It's the same contrast that creates tension between desire and denial, and it's one of the clearest signs you're under her skin. But here's where men ruin it. They catch her looking and react like it's confirmation. They smirk, stare too long, or say something like, "I saw that." That's the equivalent of turning off the light. Before your eyes fully adjust, you destroy the subtle magic of the moment. The Stoic move, stillness, presence, awareness without reaction. You hold her gaze just long enough to show you noticed, not to dominate, not to flirt, just to exist there comfortably. That calm silence between looks is where attraction expands. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The same is true for the eyes. When she feels drawn to you, her eyes carry that emotion. It paints her expression even when she's saying the opposite. You don't have to guess her truth. It's right there in how long she looks, how quickly she looks away, and whether she finds you again in the next moment. Reading her eyes isn't about decoding her feelings. It's about understanding her resistance. She may not be ready to admit interest. Maybe she's testing your confidence or protecting her pride. That's fine. Let her. Your job isn't to expose her emotions. It's to honor them by staying unbothered. So when you catch her gaze, don't fill the silence. Don't rush to speak or act. Just breathe. Let the tension exist. Let her feel the weight of your calm energy. Because in that stillness, she's not just looking at you, she's feeling you. And that's when she starts chasing that feeling again and again. If you've ever felt that silent tension through a look, write it below. I've felt that. Now stay where you are, because what's coming next will reveal how her mixed behavior around you isn't confusion at all. It's attraction in disguise. You'll want to hear this. Number 3. Extra sweet to your friends, colder to you. Here's one of the most confusing signs for most men: when she's all smiles and laughter with your friends, but seems colder or distant with you. You might think she's not interested, that you somehow did something wrong. But in reality, this is one of the clearest signs she does like you. She's just trying not to show it. Let's break it down. When a woman is genuinely uninterested, she doesn't care about your friends. She might be polite, maybe neutral, but she's emotionally flat. But when she's into you, she becomes hyper-aware of your environment. She wants to test her effect on you indirectly by interacting with the people around you. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. Ethan, 38, a gym trainer from Chicago, met Sarah, 29, through a mutual friend. Every time they hung out in a group, Sarah was effortlessly friendly, joking, teasing, even complimenting Ethan's buddies. But with him she was different, calm, a bit sharp, sometimes distant. The contrast drove him crazy. What Ethan didn't realize is that Sarah wasn't being cold, she was protecting her pride. Her mind said, "Don't let him see how much you like him," while her emotions said, "Stay close." So she redirected her energy. She used his friends to feel connected to him while keeping her own vulnerability safe. It's a classic dynamic. When she's around a man she secretly likes, her emotional system goes into overdrive. She feels exposed, her heart rate goes up, her body reacts, her ego panics. So instead of showing interest directly, she diverts it often toward his social circle. Now, from your perspective, it might feel like rejection, but from hers, it's a defense mechanism. She's trying to manage her own attraction by keeping you guessing. This is where most men fail the test. They either get frustrated and pull away completely, or they get insecure and start chasing harder. Both kill attraction. The Stoic move, the masculine move, is to understand what's really happening and hold your ground. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In this case, the outside event is her behavior, her mixed signals, her cold tone, her playful talk with others. Your job isn't to control it or demand clarity. Your job is to remain centered. When you stay calm, when you don't flinch or act jealous, you communicate strength. You're saying, "Without words, I see what you're doing, and it doesn't shake me." That calm confidence creates a gravitational pull because women feel safest around men who don't get emotionally tossed around by uncertainty. Over time, her walls start to soften. She'll stop overcompensating with your friends, and her attention will turn back toward you. She'll seek your validation, even subtly, longer glances, softer tone, a question that has nothing to do with the conversation. That's when you know the attraction is shifting from defensive to emotional. She's not pretending not to like you anymore. She's realizing she can't hide it. So if she laughs with your friends but seems a little colder with you, don't take it personally. It's not rejection. It's a reflection of your effect on her. Let her have her little act. Just stay composed. Because every time she looks at you and realizes you're not chasing her attention, her mind whispers the same quiet thought, "Why isn't he trying harder?" That's when the chase begins. If you've ever noticed this kind of mixed behavior, comment below. I stay calm. And don't go anywhere, because the next part will show you how her silence speaks louder than her flirting ever could. Trust me, you'll want to catch that. Number 4. Warm today, distant tomorrow. If she's warm, one day laughing at your jokes, texting back fast, maybe even touching your arm, and then cold and distant, the next, don't be confused. Don't assume she's lost interest, because more often than not, that emotional inconsistency is the interest. It's her way of managing what she feels, but doesn't yet understand. Women rarely experience attraction as a straight line. It's a wave, hot, then cool, engaged, then withdrawn. It's not random. It's emotional self-protection. When she starts to feel too drawn to you, her mind hits the brakes. The warmth comes from desire. The distance comes from fear. This push and pull dynamic happens when you've made her feel something real, something that threatens her sense of control. Her attraction to you isn't just physical anymore. It's psychological. So she retreats to test both herself and you. She wants to see if you'll chase her when she pulls away. And here's the key: if you do, you fail the test. The Stoics would call this moment a trial of perception. Epictetus said, It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. When she becomes distant, most men instantly judge that distance as rejection, and they react emotionally. They text more, explain themselves, ask what's wrong. But what she's really doing is checking your emotional temperature. She wants to see if you stay the same man, whether she's warm or cold. True composure, the kind that separates a masculine man from the average one, is the ability to remain unmoved by her emotional weather. When she's warm, you enjoy the moment without overvaluing it. When she's distant, you stay steady, grounded, and calm. Because when you stop chasing her mood and start embodying your own, she feels something she rarely experiences: emotional safety wrapped in mystery. Here's the irony: the more consistent you are, the more her inconsistency works in your favor. Each time she pulls away and finds you centered, it builds trust. Each time she tests you and realizes you don't react, it builds attraction. She starts associating your calm with strength, your stillness with depth. You become the stable force in her emotional storm. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves crash. It stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." That's you in this dynamic. You're not resisting her emotion, you're absorbing it, grounding it. You're showing that her intensity doesn't scare you. When she realizes she can't shake your calm, that your energy doesn't fluctuate with hers, the power dynamic shifts. You stop being the one who reacts and become the one who defines the rhythm. That's when she starts chasing your energy. She becomes addicted not to your attention, but to your emotional control. So next time she's warm and then suddenly distant, don't text her asking what happened. Don't overanalyze. Just let her breathe. Stay consistent. Because she's not trying to push you away, she's trying to find out if you're real. And if you want to master the Stoic approach to attraction, the art of controlling your emotions while inspiring desire, then this is the perfect time to join the private Men's Stoic Mastery Circle. Inside, I break down how to lead, attract, and connect with women through calm power and deep presence. Click the link below to become a member and start leveling up from within. Because once you master your emotions, she'll never be able to walk away from the energy you create. Number 5. Quiet jealousy she can't quite mask. There's a special kind of silence that speaks louder than words, the quiet tension. When a woman who's pretending not to like you suddenly sees you give another woman attention, she won't say anything directly, but her energy changes. Her tone sharpens, her responses get shorter, her laughter fades. That's not coincidence, that's quiet jealousy. Let's paint a picture. Ryan, 35, a marketing consultant from Austin, had been hanging out with Olivia, 28, for a few weeks. She always acted casual, friendly, but distant, teasing, but detached. Ryan assumed she wasn't interested, so he didn't overthink it. One night, they were at a group dinner, and Ryan found himself in a light-hearted conversation with another woman, laughing a little too freely. Suddenly, he noticed Olivia's expression shift. She smiled, less, spoke to him only when necessary, and left early, saying she was tired. What changed? Nothing, except that Olivia's mask had slipped. See, jealousy is one of the strongest emotional indicators of interest, especially when it shows up subtly. A woman who doesn't care about you doesn't get irritated when you talk to others. But a woman who's pretending not to like you will feel the sting and try desperately to hide it. It's not about possession, it's about fear. Fear that you might be drawn to someone else before she's ready to admit how she feels. You'll see this quiet jealousy in the smallest reactions. She suddenly becomes too busy to talk after seeing you engage with another woman. She casually mentions something negative about the girl you spoke to, calling her a bit much or too flirty. Or she tries to one-up the interaction later, being overly warm with someone else, just to test your reaction. It's emotional chess, not coincidence. The Stoics would say that jealousy, when observed properly, reveals attachment, and attachment reveals vulnerability. Seneca once wrote, "He who is jealous is never at rest." In her mind, your calm presence, the same confidence that drew her in now, feels like something she can lose. That contrast fuels her desire. This is where your discipline matters most. The mistake most men make is reacting to her jealousy by trying to reassure her by over-explaining or trying to make her feel better. But that kills the attraction immediately, because her jealousy isn't a cry for comfort, it's a test of your emotional stability. Instead, do what Ryan eventually learned to do: stay grounded. Don't rub it in, but don't backpedal either. Keep your tone, even your demeanor, warm but steady. Let her feel the tension of her own reaction without you trying to manage it. When you don't feed her jealousy, she's forced to confront it, and that's when it turns into attraction. Why? Because calm in the face of chaos is masculine. It signals security. It tells her, I don't need to prove my worth, you already feel it. And here's the beauty of it: when she realizes her jealousy doesn't shake you, she starts to trust you emotionally, even if she won't admit it. She begins to crave your presence because your stillness gives her something her emotions can't: stability. So the next time she acts distant after seeing you talk to someone else, don't chase her energy. Don't apologize for being magnetic. Simply stay composed, stay kind, and carry on. Because that quiet jealousy, she can't quite hide. It's not rejection, it's recognition of your power to make her feel. If you've ever seen that look of hidden jealousy, drop it below. I stay centered, and stay tuned, because the next sign reveals how her indifference might be nothing more than her way of protecting obsession. Number 6. She upgrades her look when you're near. Here's something most men completely miss when a woman secretly likes you but doesn't want to admit it. She won't tell you with her words, she'll tell you with her effort. She'll start showing up a little more polished, her outfit slightly more intentional, her perfume a little stronger. It's subtle, but it's deliberate. She's not trying to seduce you outright, she's trying to influence how you see her. You might think it's coincidence. It's not. Attraction always leaks through presentation. When a woman is indifferent, her energy stays neutral, her hair in a bun, minimal makeup, casual clothes. But when she starts to care, even subconsciously, her self-presentation becomes a language of emotion. Every detail, from the shade of lipstick to how she tucks her hair, becomes a quiet attempt to stand out in your eyes. This shift is rooted in something deeply psychological. When a woman invests time into her appearance around a man, she's signaling both interest and anticipation. She's mentally preparing for possibility. She might still play the "I don't care" card, but her actions betray her calm exterior. She's not doing it for the room, she's doing it for the one pair of eyes she hopes will notice. This behavior aligns perfectly with Stoic principles, particularly the idea of action revealing truth. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what your actions make you." In this context, her actions are painting a picture her words are too guarded to admit. She may pretend her upgraded look is just because she felt like it, but in truth, emotion always drives effort. And here's where most men go wrong. They either overreact or ignore it completely. If you call her out directly, "Wow, you really dressed up today, huh?" she'll retreat behind a wall of denial. But if you ignore it altogether, you miss the subtle exchange of energy she's offering. The right move is balance. Notice, appreciate internally, but don't reward it with instant validation. Your calm acknowledgement, a slow smile, steady eye contact, or a relaxed compliment like, "You look centered today," makes her feel seen without feeling exposed. In Stoic terms, this is measured presence. You observe without judgment. You appreciate without attachment. And that calm awareness drives her wild because it communicates depth. You're not dazzled by the surface, you're grounded, and she can feel it. Remember, women don't upgrade their look for men they feel nothing for. They do it for men who make them feel something real. When she spends extra minutes getting ready knowing she might see you, it's not vanity, it's vulnerability in disguise. And if you want to know whether it's you, she's dressing up for, watch her behavior right after you arrive. Does she subtly fix her hair? Does her body language open up slightly? Does she maintain eye contact just long enough to see if you noticed? These micro-signals are where truth lives. As Epictetus wrote, "What you do not see clearly, observe in silence. The truth reveals itself through patience." Your patience is power here. So the next time she shows up looking effortlessly radiant, don't assume it's random. Recognize it for what it is: quiet attraction wrapped in denial. She's pretending not to care, but her reflection already gave her away. If you've ever noticed that kind of unspoken effort from a woman, type this below: I notice everything. And stay close, because the next sign will show you how her indifference isn't rejection at all. It's her way of guarding obsession. Number 7. She remembers the tiny things no one does. It's easy to assume a woman isn't interested when she plays it cool, distant, controlled, maybe even a little aloof. But pay attention to this: if she remembers the small things you say, the subtle details others forget. That's not coincidence. That's care hiding behind composure. Take Michael, 42, from Denver. He met Emma, 34, through mutual friends. Their conversations were casual about work, travel, random life stuff. Nothing deep, nothing obvious. But one day, weeks later, she texted him, "Hope your dog's leg is better." He hadn't mentioned that to anyone else. That's when it hit him: she'd been listening. She wasn't ignoring him. She was observing quietly, deeply. When a woman pretends not to like you but remembers your tiny details, what she's really doing is processing emotion while maintaining control. She doesn't want to expose her feelings, but her attention gives her away. The human mind only holds on to what matters emotionally. And when she recalls your favorite drink, the brand of cologne you wear, or something small you said weeks ago, she's signaling emotional investment without risking vulnerability. The irony is, men often miss this completely. We expect grand gestures, overt compliments, direct flirting, constant communication. But attraction in emotionally complex women rarely works like that. It shows up in memory. When she's replaying your words in her mind, analyzing your tone, and then dropping subtle callbacks into later conversations, she's trying to stay connected without crossing her own emotional boundaries. Women who are guarded don't flirt loudly, they connect quietly. It's her way of saying, "You've left an impression I can't shake." Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If she's remembering you, that means her thoughts are returning to you. And that repetition, that mental return, is the foundation of desire. Attraction begins not with touch, but with attention. Here's something powerful: when she remembers your small details, don't call her out. Don't tease her like, "Wow, you remember that," because it breaks the tension she's unconsciously building. Just smile, acknowledge it naturally, and move on. That calm response amplifies the emotional charge. It tells her, "I noticed too, but I'm not chasing it." And that subtle restraint is magnetic. Now let's go back to Michael and Emma. When he realized she remembered so much, he didn't flood her with messages. He stayed patient, grounded, consistent, and that's when her interest grew stronger. She started asking deeper questions, sharing more of herself, because his steadiness made it safe for her to drop the act. Remember this: when a woman holds on to your details, it's because you've already occupied mental real estate in her mind. You've become a recurring thought, and that's something she can't fake. Her memory is her giveaway. So next time she brings up something small, maybe your coffee order, your weekend plans, or a random story you told once, pause and recognize what's happening. It's not small talk. It's emotional breadcrumbing. Each detail she remembers is her way of saying, "You matter more than I want to admit." If you've ever caught a woman remembering something you thought she'd forget, drop this below: "I leave an impression." And stay right here, because the next part reveals how her silence can actually speak louder than every word she's ever said. Number 8. Likes your posts, dodges your DMs. Here's a confusing truth. Most men have felt, but few understand. She's watching you, engaging with you, online, liking your posts, maybe even commenting occasionally. But when you message her directly, she goes quiet. No reply. Or a short, polite response that leads nowhere. And you're left wondering, what's going on here? This isn't random behavior. It's psychology, and more specifically, the kind of female psychology driven by curiosity, ego, and emotional safety. When a woman likes your posts but avoids your DMs, what she's doing is maintaining control of emotional distance. Public interaction feels safe. It lets her show interest without exposing vulnerability. It gives her the satisfaction of connection, the small hit of dopamine when you notice her like without the risk of being seen as too eager. In private, however, the stakes are different. A DM carries weight. It's a move that can't be denied, deleted, or explained away as easily. The Stoics would call this a dance between perception and attachment. Epictetus wrote, "It's not things that disturb us, but our perception of them." To her, replying to your DM means acknowledging her feelings, and that threatens her sense of control. So she keeps the connection surface level where she can observe and influence without surrendering her composure. It's not disinterest, it's management. She wants you to notice her engagement, that tiny spark of validation she gives by liking your picture or watching your story. It's her way of saying, "I'm here, but I'm not available." This keeps her in emotional power while keeping you guessing. Now here's where most men fail the test. They see this pattern and overreact. They start double texting, sending longer messages, or posting stories just to get her attention. And that desperation destroys the polarity instantly. You go from being a mystery to being a pursuer. She feels your energy shift from calm to craving, and attraction dissolves. The correct Stoic approach: restraint. If she engages publicly but avoids you privately, don't chase. Let her observe you. Let her feel your indifference. Keep posting, but not for her. Post because you're grounded, because your life is rich and meaningful without her response. That's the kind of confidence women can't ignore. Over time, that quiet consistency triggers something powerful: curiosity turning into craving. When she realizes your attention doesn't hinge on her reaction, her emotional safety turns into emotional hunger. She begins to question why she's watching so closely, why she can't look away, and that's when her own mind starts chasing you. You see, women are drawn not to availability, but to emotional command. When you don't break your composure, you create an energy she can't manipulate. Your silence becomes your statement. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The modern translation, "The best response to mixed signals," is calm indifference. You don't match her games, you master yourself. So next time she likes your post but dodges your DM smile, you're in her head. She's already feeling something she's not ready to admit. Stay composed, stay focused, and let her curiosity grow in the silence you leave behind. If you've ever experienced that silent attention where she watches but won't engage, comment below. I stay unshaken. And don't go anywhere, because what's coming next reveals the subtle ways her absence speaks louder than her words ever could. Number 9. Quick chat that somehow lasts an hour. You know the type of conversation I'm talking about, the one that starts as a casual check-in. Maybe she texts, "Hey, just wanted to ask you something real quick," or you bump into her somewhere and she says, "I can't stay long." But then an hour later, you're both still talking. The world fades, time disappears, and she's leaning in just a little closer than before. That's not an accident. That's emotional chemistry disguised as coincidence. When a woman says she doesn't have time but makes time for you, she's not being friendly, she's being drawn in. This happens when she feels emotionally safe around you, but isn't ready to admit her attraction. Her logic says, keep it casual, but her energy says, I don't want this to end. And it's not about what you're talking about, it's about how she feels when she's talking to you. The tone of your voice, the pauses between your words, the steadiness of your presence. When you're calm, focused, and genuinely listening, you create something rare, peace wrapped in connection. Most men rush to impress or dominate the conversation. You, however, just exist, and that stillness is addictive. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." In this case, being brave means not filling every silence, not trying to entertain her, not performing for approval. You're free because you don't need her validation, and paradoxically, that's what draws her in deeper. When she feels that calm confidence, she unconsciously starts mirroring your energy. Her body relaxes, her tone softens, her guard lowers. That's when she begins sharing more personal stories, old wounds, secret ambitions. You become the man she can reveal herself to, not because you demand it, but because your energy makes it safe. Notice this: if she's truly indifferent, your conversation will feel mechanical, polite, quick, surface level. But when she's pretending not to like you, her words may stay neutral, yet her behavior exposes her. She lingers, asks unnecessary follow-ups, laughs at things that aren't really funny, or even interrupts herself just to keep you engaged. She's rationalizing her own attraction as just talking while her emotions are screaming something else entirely. From a psychological view, this happens because women are wired to bond through communication. Conversation is her form of intimacy. And when she's drawn to you, she doesn't need physical contact to feel connected. She needs emotional rhythm. When you maintain composure, listen intently, and let her flow, that rhythm becomes intoxicating. So, when she says, "I only have a minute," but stays for 60, understand that her mind may be in denial, but her emotions have already decided. Don't ruin it by pointing it out or bragging about it later. Just smile internally. You're already winning without trying. The key is to let her talk, not because you're passive, but because your silence speaks louder than her words. She's not addicted to your voice. She's addicted to how she feels when you're quiet. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if her thoughts keep returning to you after that quick chat, it's because your presence left a mark on her. So next time a woman tells you she doesn't have time but somehow never stops talking to you, don't question it. Just understand she's trying to resist something she's already surrendered to. She's not pretending to like you anymore. She's pretending she's still in control. Number 10. She weaves herself into your world. When a woman is pretending not to like you but secretly does, she doesn't confess it. She positions herself in your orbit. It's never loud or obvious. Instead, it's subtle, strategic, and beautifully psychological. She starts showing up in your spaces, the cafe you mentioned once, the gym you go to, the events you casually talked about. She starts following the things you like, online commenting on a hobby you told her about, or even befriending people connected to you. She's building threads between your world and hers slowly and carefully, so she can exist close to you without exposing her feelings. This isn't coincidence, it's emotional proximity. When she weaves herself into your environment, she's saying, "I want access to your world, but I don't want to risk rejection." It's the safest form of pursuit, one where she can stay visible while pretending it's all accidental. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior reveals something profound about human nature. Epictetus once said, "What occupies your mind will shape your destiny." If you occupy her thoughts, she will start aligning her actions with that focus, consciously or not. That's why she starts orbiting your life. She's drawn to the peace, the groundedness, the masculine stillness you represent. You've become a center of gravity, and she's moving closer, one quiet step at a time. Notice how she integrates herself. She asks about your passions, shows interest in your routines, references your favorite podcast, or, quote, maybe even jokes about bumping into you somewhere. Each gesture looks casual, but it's calculated in emotion. It's her way of becoming part of your story, not through confrontation but through connection. Psychologically, this is the investment phase of hidden attraction. When women emotionally attach, they seek inclusion, not attention. They want to blend in with your rhythm until their presence feels natural, inevitable. That's why she starts mirroring your behaviors, using similar phrases, liking similar music, or aligning with your worldview. The more she resonates with your essence, the less she can detach. And here's what separates strong men from reactive ones. Most guys, once they notice this, get excited. They start chasing back, making it obvious that they've caught on. But a Stoic man doesn't chase. He allows. He recognizes the behavior for what it is, an unspoken admission of attraction, and lets her keep weaving. His calm composure invites her to go deeper because he's not disrupting the flow. Remember, this isn't manipulation, it's emotional reciprocity. When you move through life with confidence and integrity, women who are drawn to that energy naturally want to belong to it. She's not just liking you, she's adapting to you. And that's where the real power lies. The man who holds his frame becomes a living standard. He doesn't need to pull anyone into his world, they gravitate toward it. So when she starts showing up in your spaces, repeating your phrases, or connecting with your circle, understand that she's already chosen. Her words might say, "We're just friends," but her actions say, "I want to belong where you are." That's the point where attraction has evolved into attachment, when she's not just drawn to you, but to the life you embody. You've become the gravity she orbits, the rhythm she can't unhear, and the story she keeps writing herself into. So now you understand, when a woman pretends not to like you, it's rarely about disinterest. It's about control, emotion, and fear of exposure. From her subtle smiles to her quiet jealousy, from remembering the smallest details to weaving herself into your world, every action reveals more than her words ever could. The truth is, attraction isn't built on grand gestures or constant validation. It's built on energy, presence, and restraint. When you stay calm, grounded, and centered in your own frame, you stop chasing, and she starts gravitating. That's the essence of Stoic power in modern relationships: mastering yourself, not trying to master her. If you found value in this video, and you want to go deeper to learn the advanced Stoic mindset that keeps feminine energy chasing you, not running from you, consider becoming a member. You'll get access to exclusive content, deeper psychological breakdowns, and practical Stoic training for men. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a lesson that could change how women see you forever. Thank you for watching, stay grounded, and I'll see you tomorrow.